Society often preaches that intelligence is a gift, a key to success. Yet the reality is harsher. Brilliance frequently invites envy, hostility, and exclusion. To navigate this, Schopenhauer echoes the wisdom of Balthasar Gracian. To be well-liked, one must wear the skin of the simplest of animals. In offices, the most talented are overlooked. In schools, the sharpest students are mocked. Those who see clearly or speak uncomfortable truths unintentionally reflect what others lack. And that reflection provokes resentment. The smarter you are, the more carefully you must move through a world that rewards comfort over insight. In this video, we'll explore why intelligence can feel like a curse and how to navigate society wisely, drawing on Schopenhauer's maxims and counsels. Schopenhauer explains that intelligence itself can be unsettling. When an ordinary person encounters someone clearly smarter, they instinctively feel judged, even if no judgment is intended. At the core of this resentment lies insecurity. High intelligence acts like a mirror, exposing the limitations and inadequacies that many would rather ignore. When people encounter someone intellectually superior, they instinctively compare themselves, and these comparisons rarely lead to self-improvement. Instead, discomfort becomes quiet resentment. Talented employees may find themselves sidelined in the workplace, passed over for promotions, or subtly undermined by colleagues who feel threatened. Gifted students in schools often face isolation or bullying as peers perceive knowledge and curiosity as showing off. Intelligence, rather than inspiring admiration, disrupts social comfort zones and triggers envy. The irony is that the intellectual is rarely trying to prove superiority. Simply thinking clearly or asking thoughtful questions can provoke hostility. Overthinking, deep understanding, or even pointing out the obvious can make others feel small, and in response, they project their frustration outward. Conversations with someone sharper become exercises in insecurity for the less capable, who unconsciously assume the intelligent person is silently judging them. In effect, the intelligent become living reminders of what others lack. This is why brilliance often attracts quiet hostility instead of praise. People instinctively defend their comfort zones, and intelligence, by highlighting gaps in ability or understanding, excites hatred and resentment among those who feel inferior. In every sphere, work, school, or social life, the competent few face subtle exclusion, isolation, or belittlement, not because they are malicious, but because their very presence threatens the fragile egos around them. Intelligence exposes the truth of human insecurity. Most people would rather reject the mirror than confront their own limitations. And as we'll see, this is only the beginning of the challenges that come with being smarter than those around you. Envy is one of the most insidious forces shaping human behavior, quietly driving much of the rejection and hostility that intelligent people face. Few admit they are jealous of someone's mind, so instead, they attack the person's character, finding superficial reasons to justify their resentment. A confident, capable individual may be labeled arrogant, cold, or unrelatable, and their achievements dismissed as luck rather than merit. Simply existing as someone sharper can be perceived as a rebuke, even if no judgment is intended. This sublimated resentment explains why insults, gossip, and social exclusion are so common. People attack the individual to protect their own fragile egos, shifting the focus from competence to character. She's so arrogant, or he's a know-it-all, becomes a way to level the playing field without confronting their own inadequacy. Nietzsche's concept of the pathos of distance further illuminates this dynamic. Intelligence, like nobility, creates an inevitable separation between individuals. The more outstanding one person is, the more alien they seem to the average observer. The masses rarely accept this distance gracefully. Instead, deep-seated bitterness festers, turning admiration into subtle or even overt hostility. Compliments may be met with silent resentment, friendships fray, and social circles close, not because of any fault in the intelligent person, but because others feel diminished in comparison. The success of a talented individual threatens the comfort of others, prompting gossip, exclusion, or efforts to humble them, not out of fairness, but to soothe wounded pride. The intelligent are often judged unfairly, attacked subtly, and ostracized, simply for shining a light on what others lack. By its very nature, intelligence tends to isolate its possessor. Those who think deeply, question norms, or pursue unconventional ideas often find themselves at odds with the majority. Simply being smarter or more insightful can make others uncomfortable, prompting avoidance, gossip, or subtle exclusion. Society thrives on mediocrity. Small talk, shallow entertainment, and conventional thinking dominate most social interactions. But an intelligent person seeks depth, critical discussion, and authentic engagement, qualities many find exhausting or unnecessary. This natural mismatch creates an invisible distance, and the gifted often find themselves misunderstood or deliberately avoided. People may invent excuses to escape the company of someone too bright, not because of any wrongdoing, but simply because their presence highlights others' limitations. Beyond external avoidance, intelligence often comes with introspection, making socialization even more challenging. The intellectually gifted crave authenticity, yet the world rewards charm, agreeability, and superficial conformity. Isolation, in this sense, is not just a consequence, but frequently a conscious choice. Solitude becomes a refuge for those aware of the social costs, or who recognize that few peers can match their level of thought or curiosity. A striking illustration appears in Albert Camus' The Stranger. Meursault is condemned not primarily for his actions, but for failing to conform to societal expectations. He does not mourn in the expected way, and his emotional detachment is read as coldness or arrogance. His nonconformity, a reflection of honesty and philosophical insight, is punished by society, a real-world echo of Schopenhauer's insight that the intelligent can be targeted simply for being different. Foolish people are 100-fold more averse to meeting the wise than the wise are to the company of the foolish. Even ancient wisdom acknowledged this divide. History is full of geniuses who experienced profound loneliness. Kafka was distrusted by fellow intellectuals. Van Gogh lived largely in isolation due to others' inability to understand his vision, and Nikola Tesla avoided close relationships, sensing few could truly comprehend his mind. Ultimately, social circles reward mediocrity. If the majority engages in trivial conversations or shallow entertainment, a conversation of insight will quickly clear the room. Curiosity and understanding, the very traits that could unite people, instead create distance. For the intelligent, brilliance often comes with the quiet price of solitude. One of the greatest struggles for intelligent individuals is the perception that they are arrogant. Even when their intent is humble, their insight or clarity can feel like an unspoken reproach to those less capable. Even a gentle challenge to someone's beliefs may be interpreted as a personal affront, provoking quiet resentment or overt hostility. Because of this, the intelligent often learn to mask their abilities to avoid social friction. They may play dumb, downplaying knowledge or using humor to appear less formidable. They avoid deep topics, switching conversations at the first sign of disinterest, even if it means never exploring ideas that truly engage them. Some go so far as to feign ignorance, pretending not to know something or struggling with concepts they understand effortlessly, all in the service of maintaining social peace. Ironically, those who are truly arrogant or loud often receive better treatment than those who are quietly brilliant. A brash individual, even if shallow or self-absorbed, may be seen as amusing or charismatic, while a highly capable person speaking calmly is perceived as threatening. In essence, society favors those who do not make others feel small. A physically attractive person may provoke envy, but an intellectually gifted person triggers a deeper, more subtle insecurity. For the intelligent, the world often demands a delicate balance, revealing enough insight to thrive, but never so much as to provoke resentment. On the other hand, it is a real recommendation to be stupid. For just as warmth is agreeable to the body, so does it do the mind good to feel its superiority. And a man will seek company likely to give him this feeling, as instinctively as he will approach the fireplace or walk in the sun if he wants to get warm. Society is built to reward mediocrity, because mediocrity is comfortable. It threatens no one's self-esteem, it doesn't disrupt the status quo, and most importantly, it doesn't make others feel small. People naturally gather with those who make them feel equal or superior. Similarly, the dull and ignorant are always popular precisely because they allow others to feel good about themselves. Envy fuels the rejection of brilliance. Leaders, social influencers, and even friends gain attention not through competence or insight, but through relatability, repetition of comforting cliches, and appeal to emotion. The speaker who challenges assumptions or exposes ignorance often faces indifference, hostility, or exclusion. Mediocrity is always to the fore, whilst merit meets with tardy recognition, or with none at all.